Today's topic will be the history on VR and things that are related to it. My last video was the history on video games, and I know that I mentioned it for a little bit, but I decided that I wanted to go into more detail. I'm active in things related to VR, and like most, was introduced into it when I got the Oculus Quest 2. If I sound different, it's because I'm at the whitefox's house and using his setup. The first VR headset to be in the limelight, even if it was just a little bit, was announced in 1991 by Sega with the Sega VR headset for the Sega Genesis home console. How narcissistic. While this headset never saw the light of day, it's still one of the first VR headsets that was even just thought of. The reason that it never saw the light of day was because people in Sega were worried that people would be having epileptic seizures due to the flashing lights. Another reason that this headset never saw the light of day was because of the production issues, which is to be expected since it was the 90s. Later on, in 95, Nintendo decided to release their own VR headset called the Virtual Boy, which was able to see the limelight, unlike Sega's. But because of the way people thought back then, the Virtual Boy flopped, and after a year of production, was discontinued. And after looking it up for a little bit, I found out that if you wanted to buy one today, they can cost over $1,000. The average price I found was around $400, but with that money, you could easily buy a Quest. The reason it's so expensive is because it's a collector's item. More recently, the Oculus Rift was in production back in 2012. This was when VR started to gain traction, with the Kickstarter for the Rift gaining 2.4 million. After the success of the Rift, Oculus was bought off of Palmer Luckey, Michael Antonov, Brendan Irab, and Nate Mitchell in 2014 by Facebook for $2 billion. That's crazy. And after that, VR really started gaining traction. To the point of, if you watched YouTube or if you were active in the video game community, then you knew of VR. 2014 was an important year for VR, with things like Sony announcing their VR project called Project Morpheus, which was a huge success when it was released. That year also had Google release their Cardboard, which was a thing that you would put your phone into and watch like 3D videos or play simple games. It wasn't nothing like the Quest, but with a big company like Google releasing something similar to VR, that only helped its reputation. The headset that really busted through into the mainstream was the HTC Vive, which was a headset made for Steam VR. With its sensor-based tracking, it allowed more freedom when moving around in your space. Even now, a lot of people still only have the HTC Vive. In 2019, Facebook announced the Oculus Quest, which was a big innovation since it was one of the first standalone headsets. You know how people would connect their headsets to Steam? Well, when the Quest came out, it was the first headset to go over 1 million connections to Steam. The reason that it was the first to go over 1 million connections was probably because of its affordability. The Oculus Quest 1 was $400, while the HTC Vive was priced at $800. Now, let's get into the Oculus Quest 2, the VR headset that caused VR to explode. The reason that I got into VR. My friend had a PSVR, and I loved it. As soon as I heard how cheap the Quest 2 was, I pestered my mom over it. And eventually, after working my ass off for like a year, I got it. And as of June 7th, the Quest 2 has sold over 14.8 million units. I'm always following the VR community closely. With the up-and-coming Quest Pro, the VR community is only getting bigger. I've heard that people don't like the VR community getting bigger, and I can see why. Say I want to go chill in a public world in VR chat, it's hard to find a server that doesn't have an annoying child in it. VR is a thing that everyone should experience once. I've been playing for a little over a year, and my only complaints are that stick drift is getting worse, but besides that, I don't see any reason to not get a headset. The communities are welcoming, and if you can find a friend group to hang out with, then it only makes it better.